All right. I hope everyone is doing well to start the week. I no video this weekend. Was at a work function. So I figured I would sneak a video in early this week and give you my thoughts on my updates. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take this as financial advice. This is just for educational purposes and my opinions. I could always be wrong. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the markets forward in time. I am just doing my best, giving you my opinions and what I see. So with that, let's get rolling. And so quite the eventful couple weeks, I'd have to say. But then zooming out, this is my weekly Bitcoin Elliott wave count. Unfortunately, there's nothing too dramatic to report here. I would love to be able to say a lot of things have changed. My perception has changed. My forecast has changed. If anything, I think my forecasts are revised up slightly. And so let's kind of go through what I'm seeing right now. And so, mind you, just a quick reminder for those that are recent follows of mine. I view this entire movement from December 2018 up to where we are right now as the current cycle. And I know there's a very popular thought that this is the start of a new cycle. I do not subscribe to that, although it certainly could be possible. There certainly could be possible. My feeling is and has been, we are in a final fifth impulse of this larger move that consisted of one impulse, two impulse, correction, major correction. Okay. And so if I zoom out and just kind of observe where we are right now in the context of the entire move and why things have accelerated, and for those of you that remember the video I did in late January after the Sell the News ETF event, remember that one? Yeah. I had said for this count to be valid and the structure to be, my interpretation of the structure to be valid, would call for, as more time goes by, hyper acceleration in USD value in price, given that's what occurs the further you get into these impulsive movements. And I kind of went through where I was wrong, right? I said, really, from that point, yeah, I couldn't call this a valid count even if we went sideways for a couple of months, because that would invalidate the in time price appreciation relationship at this juncture of where I believe we are in the market. And so where are we today in this market? And I still view this as, I don't even think the parabola has even started here. It most certainly has in MicroStrategy. And that to me is a leading indicator and has been, in February 08, it topped out a couple months before Bitcoin did. So to me, it leads and is already kind of showing us potentially the way here. And so we're simply consolidating above, and this is the impulse, right? The third impulsive movement, that first, new all-time high in April of 2021. This new all-time high was done, in my opinion, in a corrective type move. And so if I look at where we are right now, we're simply consolidating over the true impulsive all-time high, not the corrective all-time high. And that's perfectly normal. Why am I going to be concerned? Am I going to be concerned because the price is going down? The price goes down all the time. Right? We don't see price do this. If price did that, it'd be very easy and everybody would win. Price does this, right, on the way up for a reason. This is volatility. And so just because we're in one of these doesn't mean I change my entire view or thesis. And so it's not. If anything, with the power that MicroStrategy has been demonstrating, and the fact that we're consolidating over all-time highs for 2 weeks now, that's just more energy, more steam to build up for what I believe is this minor wave 3 of the minor 5th of major 5. And why raise a target for this minor wave 3? Now I have it somewhere between possibly 135 and 165, maybe even more, because if we came out of this and just pumped relentlessly, eventually that's going to run out of steam and have to correct, kind of what we're seeing MicroStrategy do right now. But the fact that it's taking a little pause here is healthy. As consolidation tells me, I believe that tells me this minor 3 potentially is going to be a bit more powerful than I had projected. Just like MicroStrategy's move is a little bit more powerful than I had projected. So same kind of concept there, folks. All right. A couple other things to note here. Like if I switch this into a monthly chart and just throw up the Bollinger Bands, I mean, look at what we're doing here. Look at what we're doing. I mean, Bitcoin just absolutely busted out of the top end of that Bollinger Band in February. And, even with this correction, this 15+% correction, we're not back in it. We're not back in it on a monthly basis. And that to me is really bullish. So short term is anybody's guess. I can just speculate on the short term. The timing of these things is very difficult, right? Like we could consolidate for, if we consolidate for like another couple weeks, then obviously the wave 3 target I'd expect to come 2, 3, 4 weeks after that. If we're done with consolidation now, I could see this wave 3 coming in before the halving, easy. But it's all contingent on how long it consolidates. And just to speculate on how I'm kind of viewing this path right now, let's take a look. So this is the count on a daily. And again, this was the ETF, right? Sell the news dump, which really marked, in my mind, a beautiful end to the 4th, right? And now potentially we're coming out of this with a 1, 2, 3, and it makes sense to me that 3 came in early March, and then the second move to challenge all-time high was just an A, B, C running flat type of correction. Why do I say that? Because in hindsight, the miners kind of told us that, right? The miners were correcting starting here. The miners did this while Bitcoin did this. And so the miners potentially weren't rallying because Bitcoin was in a corrective move. And so that makes a lot of sense to me in hindsight. And so, speculating here on the lower time frames, if 4 is in right now, we very well could be. My interpretation here, or you might have another leg lower, but I'm not too concerned about that, right? I'm not trying to trade in and out of these moves. If 4 is in, then the minor 5th, and the sub 5th are kind of coming in at the same time, could be a really, really powerful type of rally that gets us to those numbers that I'm projecting. So who knows? We're gonna find out. But that is my Bitcoin update. Next, let's look at the miners, and I'm going to use Mara. And so Mara, very frustrating, right? As I just illustrated, as Bitcoin was going up, Mara, the miners were going down. But maybe they were, in essence, going through their corrective moves. As Bitcoin was going through its corrective move, just a different type of corrective structure, right? Whereas Bitcoin made potentially a running flat, this was more of a zigzag, right? An ABC correction in a different form, right? ABC, zigzag versus running flat. You're looking at a different type of corrective move, right? A, B, C, right? Higher C than A. And so that's completely plausible. It's completely plausible that the miners have made their local lows, and I'm going to get to that in a second when I look at the BTC pair. And the action today is very, very encouraging. The action actually since Thursday has been very encouraging as Bitcoin continues to make new lows. The miners are holding those Thursday lows, held them today. And so, in this count on Mara, really on most of the miners, if in fact this correction is over and this 2 is complete, and miner 3, or sub 3 of miner 3 is in front of us, that's what MicroStrategy just went through. That's what we just visualized. That's a very, very powerful movement in a short amount of time. So I would, my next target on Mara would be 65, 65 pretty quickly, maybe higher. So zooming out on this structure, let's go to a weekly. Hang on. Weekly chart. The weekly chart looks great, folks. The weekly chart looks great. I don't see a lot of concern here. What do I see? I just see this massive, the structure, this massive inverse head and shoulders that goes back years. We got a breach, we got a retest, we got another go, we got a fake out correction into that retest area. And given that this holds, the expectation here is that type of movement. We saw similar type of movement right when Bitcoin was negotiating at its previous all-time high in December. What do I mean by that? We had, this type of inverse head and shoulder structure. We had a breach. We had one type of retest. We didn't have the 2, but we had the 1 before it went. So some similarities. Markets don't always, repeat performance, but so often that the symmetry is evident, and there's a lot of rhyming that goes on. So Mara is still very much very bullish on at these levels. Now Mara BTC, this has been a brutal correction, an absolute brutal correction. But the good news, folks, is if this is behind us, we could see some severe outperformance here. And what do I mean by that? If I'm labeling this structure as kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4 blow off fifth into December of last year, then what we just experienced was maybe a zigzag ABC type correction. And the counts are here. Right? In this B wave, you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. And it's holding at a key demand area for the pair. I mean, that's a key demand area. Nothing's guaranteed. But what you want to see is, explosive follow through at key inflection points. So if this 5, this C wave is in, think about a 5 as like a blow off top, right? In reverse, in a corrective move. And so you've got 3 days of against Bitcoin in 3 days, 21% outperformance. And so that's exactly what I want to see. And so this scenario here, even to that level, wouldn't shock me in the least. Which could get us to 0.0006 on the pair. So that's how I'm visualizing this chart for right now. What's next? MicroStrategy. What a move MicroStrategy has made. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, I started charting this back in this region. And this is what I'm talking about, right? With the sub 3 of minor 3. These are powerful moves. They happen a lot faster than people think. I didn't see a lot of people have MicroStrategy once it got above its, the 635 level, getting to, 1800 in 3 weeks, right? These moves take a lot of people by surprise, and most certainly, I think there was a little bit of a short squeeze in the works here. So where are we now? I revised my MicroStrategy count up. That could also be a mistake. And why could that be a mistake? Well, that could be a mistake in this respect. Whereas we made 3 here. So revising my 3 up, should I say? I think the 5 still holds, at anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000 MicroStrategy would not shock me in the least. But the 3 could be in there. And the only reason I say that is right now we're working on a bit of a swing failure above the 1618. And so, potentially finding a bottom here within the next couple weeks prior to, one last move to either, anywhere from 2,500 to, $4,500 wouldn't surprise me at all for this move. But I'm kind of prepared for both scenarios, right? I'm prepared for, let's put it this way. Let's just say I'm thinking about this in 2 scenarios where you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Where we're trying to complete 4 right now and blow off 5 into minor 3 here could also be a scenario. So either way, great movement on MicroStrategy. No cause for concern when I'm looking at this chart. This is early stage parabola in my mind. Early stage parabola. That area that we're in right there. Next. Let's see MicroStrategy Bitcoin, because again, back in January, I included this on a lot of my videos because there was a lot of concern about MicroStrategy not being a proxy anymore because the ETFs were on the way. It bled 27% against Bitcoin going into the ETFs. It's very similar to what I'm hearing about the miners, coming into these last, couple weeks. And I put this chart up. And I'm going to put it up again. I'm going to put it up in line format just to illustrate what I was seeing back then. Okay, folks? And what I'm seeing now, because that's important as well, is I saw a lot of capitulation on the miners to jump into MicroStrategy, and I kind of warned against that, that this scenario that potentially may be unfolding right now. Well, let's just rewind. Let's go back to this area right here, where going into January against Bitcoin had kind of come down to a key structural higher low. And I was just kind of looking at the structure saying, actually, at that time, it wasn't exactly like this. It didn't ding the top of my line. I'm not that good, folks. I think I had the line here at the time, something like that. And I said, it's completely reasonable for us to then accept or expect a challenging of the top end of the range. And that's what it did. That's what it did. I probably got lucky. But either way, if I'm looking at its valuation in Bitcoin terms, the previous all-time high was in February of 2021. Do I expect this to come back down to test the bottom of this channel? I don't. I really don't. Not right now, at least. I would not be shocked to see some type of consolidation here, but then one last push to make a new all-time high, because the amount of Bitcoin per share that MicroStrategy holds now compared to back in 2021 is much higher. Okay, so it's more levered to Bitcoin than it was in February of 2021, and I think this short squeeze still has some room to go. So that's my thought there. Next, let's look at The chart that I posted, I think last week, when I saw a lot of people jump out of the miners to chase MicroStrategy, I posted this weekly chart of this is WGMI MicroStrategy denominated in the Bitcoin mining ETF. Okay. And, going back to the, inception of WGMI, you can see that MicroStrategy against the miners basically hit, as far extended outside of the median, right? This is the median, this midline I have drawn here, as you could get. And you had RSI make a lower high, you had price make a higher high. And so, again, not a place to be chasing, in my opinion. And so far, we're seeing a rejection there. Doesn't mean it's going to dump straight down to this midline. You could get some consolidation here. It could look something like that. But I'm at least expecting a challenge of the midline. And then depending on a reaction there, it could go back up or come back down. I have no idea. Or third option is it keeps going, right? It just does one of these things and starts a new trend. That's a possibility as well. I don't know. But anyway, folks, that's the update. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your week and look forward to doing some more of these. Take care.